Well, hello there, and welcome to my journaling corner. This video is going to be a bit of a hodgepodge of different things and moments from March. There will be a little unboxing at the start and a journal with me towards the end, so I hope you stick around for that. And we'll start by looking at a few things that joined my collection at the start of March. So I got this from Cami, which is a little stationery shop in Dusseldorf. It's right in the center, in the Little Tokyo district. It's honestly the cutest little shop, and if you're in the area, I highly recommend you check it out. My partner and I went there at the start of March as part of our sort of day trip on the weekend, and a week later I went back there with a group of journaling friends. We met each other through Instagram. We have a group for everyone who is into journaling or scrapbooking who lives in the area. So we just sat there, we had our pancakes, which were amazing, by the way. And of course, afterwards, we went to Cami again. But that time, I didn't buy anything. So everything you'll see in the unboxing actually came from my first visit with my partner. Just to say a few words about the meetup itself, it's still surreal to me that I can take like a 20-minute train and have a whole day of just journaling and chatting about stationery with a bunch of amazing people. So this is something I'm super grateful for. By the way, if you live in the area and if you'd like to join us next time, leave me a comment or drop me a message on Instagram and I'll make sure to add you to the group. All right, so back to the unboxing. The shop had so many beautiful things and it was a little bit overwhelming trying to choose only a few, but I wanted to be conservative and I only got 3 things that time. I got a pack of stickers, I got a set of stamps, and that star-shaped hole punch. We'll start with the stickers because honestly, that was probably what I was most excited about. I've seen these online before, even though I somehow didn't know anything about the brand. I've looked them up when I got these, and of course they have like an amazing selection of stickers, so I feel like in the future I might go back for more. The quality of these is really nice. These are washi stickers, so they're really nice and thin. They don't really add weight to the pages, which actually I don't normally mind if I'm using my thicker paper inserts like the ones I use for collaging. But if I want to add stickers to my planner, which is a Nolte, or to my long form journaling notebook, which is a Temua River paper insert from Good Impressions, that's when I really prefer to keep things simple and not add too much bulk to the pages, because writing on the flip side gets progressively worse the more things you add. As you can see, I tried to save as much of the packaging as possible, including the sticker on the back and the paper envelope that wrapped around the stickers. The stickers themselves were just so gorgeous. I love the colors, I love the simple palette, and the fact that there's 3 of each, so the anxiety of using up your favorite sticker is a little bit better with these. But yeah, those 2 dogs, first of all, the dog looking at the birds and then the 2 dogs just looking at the sky, those were probably the stickers that made me bite the bullet and buy them, because they remind me so much of the Soviet space dogs, which I'm honestly obsessed with. Now that I'm watching the footage a few weeks later, I feel a little bit embarrassed because it's been so much time and I still haven't used a single one of these. I put them in my sticker inserts, but I haven't used them on my pages yet. Oh well, I mean, I'm sure the time will come. Moving on to the most expensive part of my purchase, which was the set of stamps by Eric Design. Of course, these are iconic. I've seen them online a lot, and I love that you can mix and match the objects on the stamps. I never thought that I would buy them, to be honest, because the text just didn't seem like it was my style. But I think when I saw the little box in person, I knew that it had to come home with me. Little boxes are my weakness, which is very unfortunate for my wallet. If you put anything inside a little matchbox, I will buy it from you. So yeah, this happened. But To be honest, I have absolutely no regrets. I've used these quite a lot. I was actually surprised by how much I use them in my daily pages. So I'm very happy with these. The quality is amazing, and the fact that they live inside a matchbox, well, it's that's the selling point. And the last thing I got was the star-shaped hole punch. It's super cute. I love the color. I love that it's not super huge, which seems to be an issue with a lot of these. I don't understand why they are so massive sometimes. But this one was just right for me, and I'm really glad I got it. It was only €4 as well, which is an amazing price because I've seen these go for like 8 or 10 euros online. So when I saw this one, I just knew that I had to get it. So having unboxed all of my stationery, I wanted to use it. I wanted to make a page that would reflect on my experience of wandering into a shop full of stationery, full of colorful little things that make me happy. You know, the way you would go to a toy shop as a kid. It really felt like that. It really felt like that, being there and being slightly overwhelmed in a good way. So I wanted to make a spread using some of the things I got to reflect that feeling. When I make my collages, I like to approach them as little short stories or little fictional universes. And the most logical thing for me to do is to start with a protagonist by choosing a character or a building, or it doesn't have to be a character, right? It can be anything. But I normally start by selecting the main element, and then I build the whole scene around it. In this case, I wanted to use one of my Dodolulu Beyond Imagination stickers, which I got at the Cafe Analog meetup in December. I found this perfect image of a girl flying on a bird. It just seemed so whimsical and so childlike and free. It just seemed perfect for what I was trying to do here. As you can see, I also wanted to add some repurposed or recycled materials. In this case, this newspaper I picked up from Urban Outfitters a few months ago. It's one of those things that I think really define my collaging style, just using random trash I find on the street. I think it just makes the whole page feel more like myself, more original in some way. And in this case, originality is a bit of a hang-up of mine. Like, I often think about what I do and I try to define it in the sense of whether I can think about what I do as art or not. You know, it's that old debate about what counts as arts and what counts as crafts. And of course, my ego would want me to believe that what I create here is art. But can I really call this art if the whole composition relies so heavily on designs created by others? I don't know, man. It's kind of complicated, and in a way it doesn't matter as long as I'm having fun with it, as long as I like the result and the process, of course. It doesn't have to be 100% original. And that's what I was doing here, basically. I mean, I wanted this Dodolulu girl to be the centerpiece, and then I wanted to add some of the more handmade, hand-drawn elements to it as well, in the shape of this older and younger self and the stars made of the same material. And then it was time for the words. If you've seen my pages before, if you follow me on Instagram, or you've seen some of the other journal with me's on this channel, you would know that words are another essential component of my collages. I don't think I've actually made anything without words in the last year or so. I've come to refer to it as found poetry, which basically just means that I select words or phrases or sentences from a book or a magazine. I cut them out and I put them together in a new original way. Sometimes I start with an idea or a theme that I would like to talk about, but most of the time it's a sort of a free-flowing process where I spot a word or two and they spark my imagination and I sort of take it from there, just adding things as I go. It's really, there's no science to it. It's a very intuitive process, and I think that's why I like it. As somebody who isn't able to write poetry without any sort of external aid. This is just a crutch that I use to unlock that side of myself and of my creativity. And if you're like me and you don't think of yourself as a good writer per se, I highly recommend you try this because it can be so much fun and you never know what you're going to end up with, which is the best part of it. Once I was happy with my words and with the general layout, I got stamping, and this is where things went wrong in my opinion. Instead of using normal stamp inks, I went with the mild liners that I normally use to stamp on thinner paper like Tomoe River. Unfortunately, with this handmade paper, especially the one on the right hand side, on the page that has the flower embedded in it, it just didn't work. The ink didn't really stick to the paper. It looked really weird and kind of smudged, even though I stamped it pretty well in my opinion, but it just didn't work out and I was a little bit upset about it. But just to get my mind off of this, I decided to stick my words to the page so they don't move anywhere and I don't lose them. Because believe it or not, sometimes when you're working with tiniest pieces of paper, you end up losing them. And then you spend the next half an hour crawling around the room trying to find that centimeter long piece of paper that you desperately need to finish your collage. That has definitely never happened to me, by the way, so just I'm just trying to warn you guys. Even though I didn't really like how the spread came out in terms of the textures and the way the stamps were, I really love the words that I put together, this little message to the child within. There's a lot of discourse online about the inner child and what it means to heal your inner child, and I am by no means a mental health guru, but this idea really resonates with me as someone who has definitely lost access to this more playful, more carefree, just in general more vulnerable side of myself growing up. To be honest, I'm not even sure I had full access to it to begin with. I was a very serious kid. Growing up, I was more of a little adult than a child, if you know what I mean. I was exquisitely well behaved, which of course made my parents very happy, but it was more than that. It was more than being well behaved. I was always very good at controlling myself and controlling my, I guess, wants and needs and taking care of them myself. My grandmother has a favorite story about me. It was about the time she took me to a toy shop when I was probably around 4 years old. And she told me to basically choose something that I wanted and she would buy it for me. So I spent like a while browsing, looking at a bunch of things, and I selected one thing. I can't remember what it was, but I know that it was just one toy. And as we were checking out, the woman at the checkout asked me, "So are you sure you don't want anything else?" And I looked her straight in the eye and I said, "No, this is enough." In like a very serious tone, which made her laugh, of course, and my grandmother laughed as well. But I think that's just the side of me that has always been there, and it's probably what really prevents my inner child from enjoying life sometimes. I'm not saying that I should go out there and buy out the whole toy shop to quote unquote heal my inner child. I don't need to do that. But I think I should really work on allowing myself a little bit more joy, a little bit more freedom. And this spread is just a little reminder that, hey, maybe I should do that in little inconsequential ways when I feel like doing it. this is all I have for you today, so thank you so much to those of you who have stuck around. I hope that you enjoyed watching me create the spread, which was so much fun, even if it didn't turn out exactly how I wanted it to. I think in the future I will definitely revisit this idea of inner child journaling in my spreads and collages, but that's it for now. I look forward to seeing you in my next video, which will also be a similar format. There will be a little unboxing and a journal with me. But in the meantime, if you'd like to see more of my spreads, you should go check out my Instagram, which is the same as YouTube, Sophia with 2 eyes. And of course, remember to subscribe so you don't miss my next video here on YouTube. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.